Hello Pisces, thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using The Art of Love Tarot by Denise Jarvie, artwork by Tony Carmine Salerno. Website is blueangelonline.com. Feel free to freeze frame and check that out if you're interested. Supportive Oracle cards. Oracle of Shadows and Light by Lucy Cavendish, artwork by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. Website, I think, is at the bottom. Yep. teensimonandschuster.com. Feel free to check that out if you're interested. I'm really starting to warm up to these Oracle cards. I figured I'd use the same combination. Seems like they worked well last time. So, what do we have for Pisces? Ooh. Okay. The Watcher. Let's see where that goes. Okay, so the first thing I'm pulling up for you is, will history repeat itself? Does it need to? Do you really want it to? When we get deeper into this, I feel like we're going to have that reference looking backwards, where you had the ability to make something happen and you kind of watched it, almost as if you were politely waiting, and it just passed you right by. And it probably confused you, thinking, was it just not something I was supposed to be a part of? Or was I supposed to say something? I don't know. Trick or Treat and the Watcher, which is the Knight of Angels, the Knight of Swords. In the past, I feel like you had a chance to make something happen, but I don't feel like the connection was made. For some reason, you either didn't say anything at all, or maybe a conversation started going somewhere and then you might have abandoned it. Which technically is not wrong, but I feel like for the desired outcome, it didn't lead to the desired outcome the way it was handled. It wasn't really wrong, it just didn't take you where you wanted it to go. So it's almost like, I almost feel like I got so far and then I abandoned it or something like that. Like it was kind of working, I wasn't really sure where to go with it, maybe got a little nervous and just kind of went quiet. And just something just kind of disappeared. It just kind of disappeared. Something could have happened, but it disappeared. I kind of feel like you've maybe looked through this situation a few times. Maybe you've seen this situation repeat throughout your life a few times, and it's kind of like I've had enough time to really sit and think about it. The Knight of Pentacles, the Knight of Trees, the Knight of Earth, either way. It's like a solitary card, the way I read it. This situation has not linked up the way you wanted it to. Does not have to be a romance thing. I can understand how a lot of you might easily link it that way. Some of you, I'm thinking it's a business situation where I started moving forward, I started talking to people, I started to make things happen. Or maybe I thought, well, maybe they don't, or maybe you thought they don't really want to talk to me, so I'm trying to get closer, I'm trying to wait for them to choose me, maybe. And it just never happened. It's kind of like, can't wait for them to choose you, you have to choose yourself and show them why you should be chosen. It's one of those things, which may seem a little bit, as a Pisces myself, I can understand how that's uncomfortable, but I feel like you have to show what's so wonderful about you. It's there. You definitely have wonderful qualities. But it's kind of like I got to showcase them more if I want things to move forward. And what this could be, I feel like for a lot of you, this could be business where you have to showcase your strengths. You have to put them out there. I heard this in business years ago, and I believe it. Most of the time, other people won't sing your praises. Once in a great while, you might get very fortunate and find somebody who does. But 90% of the time, you're the one who has to put it out there and show people like why you're the one who should be chosen. Not saying it's fair, I'm just saying it tends to be how it works. There is a possibility here whatever it is that's passed you by, there's something waiting here over to the side. It seems very beautiful to me, but it is a page card. There's possibilities for... sometimes with the pages, they're very interesting cards to me. I don't always read them as the same thing. Sometimes it shows the level of an energy. Sometimes it shows the potential for something to grow. And I'm getting for this thing, this something here, it doesn't seem very strong to start, but it's still notable. And it has a lot more that can come from it, but it has to grow. This is something you have to choose and you have to develop if you want this, whatever this is. I feel like that's what this reading is going to be about mostly. If you really want this, is it worth cultivating it? Is it worth nurturing it to bring it forward? Believe it or not, you have more than enough. I think, and I'm going to say this as a Pisces, both of my parents were Pisces, blah, 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 blah. I feel like we can be really good nurturers if we choose to. If we engage and we believe that that's where we should be, we can be extremely nurturing, but we have to be engaged. We have to be tied into the situation. We have to feel important to the situation. And in this situation, you have to make yourself feel important to make it happen. You got the Four of Pentacles and the Magician. You might have a pattern where it's hard for you to get started in this situation. It's hard for you to move forward. It's hard for you to break through that barrier, but it's a personal barrier. Knight of Cups, half in, half out, and the High Priestess. So the High Priestess balances what's good and not good, takes them both together and makes the optimal moment. The Knight of Cups is half in, half out, is kind of like, it's kind of a risk. I don't know if this is going to work out. I could put a lot of effort into this, a lot of my heart and soul, and then end up with nothing. But this has been said many times to me over my life, and I feel like a lot of people hear this one. A lot of times you have two choices. Try and definitely fail. No, that was backwards. Try and possibly succeed, or don't try and definitely fail. I said it backwards. But sometimes it feels that way, though. If you try and you feel like, oh, I'll just fail anyway. If you go in feeling that way, that's going to be difficult. I can't believe I said that backwards, but it makes me wonder why. Because if you don't try, you definitely fail. If you do try, you have a possibility to succeed. And I feel like it's worth the possibility to succeed. You do have what it takes. The further you get into the situation, it seems like you know what to do. It's just getting yourself to do it. Just feeling confident and comfortable enough to do it. Once you start moving forward, if you start breaking through that boundary, if you overcome that obstacle, that personal obstacle, you'll know what to do. It's just doing it. And I'm going to say this for Pisces, I feel like it's not about what should be done. It's like giving yourself the courage to do it. Can sometimes hold you back. Kind of like, I don't know. If you're able to do it, I don't think it's going to be a permanent solution to where you're going to be constantly having to push yourself forward. Maybe the first 2 to 3 months it might be that way, whatever this is. But I feel like you're always going to have to keep an eye on it. Every now and then you're going to have to push it forward again. But it's kind of like makes me feel like if you're pushing a heavy cart. We're going to say however much weight is on this cart. It's not like it's like a, we're going to say it's like an apple cart or something. You can push it. It just takes some effort, right? It takes some strength. You got it. We're just going to say in this analogy, you got it. It's not fun, but you can do it. When you get used to it, when you get moving, every now and then you're going to have to steer it. Every now and then you're going to have to pull it a little bit, mostly with somebody else's help, once in a while by yourself. But it won't be like, it'll just kind of fluctuate. Sometimes 30%, sometimes 20%. Once in a while somebody else will pull it. Once in a while you'll have to pull the majority of it. It'll just kind of change. But once you get up to speed, it's not as hard. The Divine Order, which is the Justice card, and the Fairy of the Green World, it'll start taking a natural... When it gets up that far, though, when you get to that part where once in a while you have to pull it, most of the time you're pulling it with somebody else. Once in a great while you don't have to pull it at all. Whatever this is, you get used to it because you enjoy the outcome, you enjoy the connection, so you just naturally take this energy and you just keep it going because you know it needs to happen and you want to keep it. If you get that far, even though the work is the same, it doesn't feel that difficult anymore because I know I need to do it. I know what I need to do to keep this going. I'm getting a hiccup there. So what's that about? The nervousness, if I can really keep it. If you get this far, I feel like there's also going to be another telltale sign. Because I feel like some people are worried, like, what if I get that far and it turns out I really don't want whatever this is, the job, or if it's a relationship, or if it's something else. What if it turns out I really don't want it? I don't know how this is going to sound, but what I'm getting is that you just stop pulling your weight with it, and you just slowly disconnect, and then you move yourself out of that energy if you decide that's what you want. I don't feel like it's hard for you to get out. I feel like it's harder to get in. If you're there and you decide you don't really want it, you will be able to disconnect, but you'll have to take yourself out of it. If you get into it and you decide, you know what, I thought I wanted this, I don't really want this, you just pull back your energy, and then you just step outside of it again. You just remove your energy from it. It doesn't seem like it's that hard to get out of it. I don't know why. For somebody, it seems like that makes a difference. For whatever this is, kind of like, what if I don't like it? Pull back your energy, stop pulling the cart so much, and then just take yourself somewhere else. Choose to get out of it. Choose. Don't default and just kind of like go along with the ride because you're there with people. If you do get that far and you decide, you know, turns out I really don't want this, first, pull back your energy, and then choose a different path and go down a different path. If you pulled back your energy first, it doesn't seem like there's that much pushback for you to keep going. Because once you start to become a little bit of a drain on the situation, it's easier for them to let you go, whatever the situation is, work, person, whatever it is, and then you can easily go the direction you want. It seems to me, anyway, for a Pisces, that seems to be how we can sometimes easily get out of things. If we pull back our energy and let it kind of slow down, and then we just move on. Usually when we pull back and we just stop participating, people just feel the lack of our connection anyway. And then when we go, they're either not surprised or they're kind of like, because we weren't helping anymore anyway, they're okay with us going. If it becomes like a difficult thing for you to disconnect. Because I know there's been other Pisces I've talked to where they keep going, they keep doing what they're supposed to, and then people keep trying to keep them in the situation, they won't let them go. They keep trying to keep them in the situation, but if you're having a hard time getting out of a situation you don't want to be in, you first pull back your energy, let it, just don't participate as much. And then when you disconnect, they don't fight you as much. I don't know if that's a Pisces thing or a people thing or what to tell you, but there we go. We're just going to let that go. This situation, though, for the majority of you, I feel like there's more success than not. In fact, I feel like you're going to find what you want here, and it seems to develop to a further layer. You got strength coming in, and then you got the sun card, and then you got to be careful of this, because I do think you're going to like it, because this is the other side of the thing. What if I love it? What if I love it and I want to keep it and I don't want to jeopardize losing it? Make sure you don't do all the work. So we're going to use that analogy of pulling the apple cart. You're pulling it all by yourself to get it started, maybe for the first couple months. Somebody else is there helping you. Do not negate them helping you. Pull it together. Let them pull it sometimes. You pull it sometimes. Do not keep pulling it yourself because you think it's going to make you more valuable to this person. Because what happens is that if you don't do if they don't do their share as much as you do your share, the balance is off. It doesn't work. If you don't balance the situation, it's not going to thrive healthily. Healthily? In a healthy way. There we go. I'm going to say that many times, if you pull all the load and you keep pulling all the load, at some point you're going to be taken for granted. And then that other person who, since they don't have to pull the load, they can do other things, they're off having fun, they're off doing this, they're off doing that. Meanwhile, you're doing all the work for the situation and everybody else is having fun. That's not going to be good for you either. Share the load. Don't take over the responsibility of doing all the work because you feel like that secures your connection to the situation. It's not going to make you happy. You're not going to like it. Share the load. Always make sure when you get there, share the load. That'd be good. It's funny because that strength card makes me feel like that's what's the hardest part for you. If you get to that level of success, The hardest part is for you to share the load and to not just do it yourself. Because it makes you feel like as long as I do the work, I'm greatly valued and I don't have to be. It's almost like I have this false sense of security. Like as long as I do the majority of the work, that makes me really important. So they won't want to let me go. It doesn't work out that way though. You're going to get taken for granted. Don't share the load. Make sure you share the load. It seems like it's weird how it takes so much strength for you just to balance it out because it's an insecurity. A lot of Pisces have it, not everybody, but as a Pisces energy, it's like you feel more valued as long as you put in most of the work. It's a catch-22 or it's a fool's gold type of thing. Share the load. Make sure you share the load. All right. I'm shutting this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.